भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी. So today we're going to start the 7th chapter of first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The Son of Drona Punished. First words. Shaunak uvacha nirgate narade suta bhagwan badarayanaha shutvanstad abhipretam tata kim karod vibhu. Shaunak Rishi asks, O Suta, the great and transcendently powerful Vyasadeva heard everything from Sri Narad Muni. So after Narad's departure, what did Vyasadeva do? In this chapter, the clue for describing Srimad Bhagavatam is picked up as Maharaj Parikshit is miraculously saved in the womb of his mother. This was caused by Droni, Ashwathama, Acharya Drona's son, who killed the 5 sons of Draupadi while they were asleep, for which he was punished by Arjun. Before commencing the great epic Srimad Bhagavatam, Shri Vyasadeva realized the whole truth by trance in devotion. So this is what it was. The Vyasadeva was sitting in his ashram at Badrinath, and he realized the whole truth by trance in devotion. So just because he wasn't there on the spot doesn't mean he didn't see it or he didn't hear everything. He saw everything, he heard everything, and that's how he wrote down everything. Sutvacha Brahmanadyam Saraswatyam Ashramah Pashime Tate Shamya Prasiti Prokta Rishinam Satravardhana. Shri Suta said, on the western bank of the river Saraswati, which is intimately related with the Vedas, there is a cottage for meditation at Shamyapras, which enlivens the transcendental activities of the sages. So Suta Goswami is saying that Vyasadeva was there in his cottage or in his ashram on the western banks of river Saraswati. For spiritual advancement of knowledge, a suitable place and atmosphere are definitely required. So it wasn't like he could sit in a busy marketplace like Chandni Chowk and he could write Srimad Bhagavatam. So he needed a proper place, suitable place for the spiritual activities. The place on the western bank of Saraswati is especially suitable for this purpose. And there is the ashram of Vyasadeva at Shamyapras. Srila Vyasadeva was a householder, yet his residential place is called an ashram. An ashram is a place where spiritual culture is always foremost. It doesn't matter whether the place belongs to a householder or a mendicant. The whole Varnashram system is so designed that each and every status of life is called an ashram. This means that spiritual culture is common factor for all. So it's not that only brahmacharis or sannyasis can make progress in the spiritual life. Grihasthas can also. It just they have to make their home an ashram. Ashram is where spiritual activities are performed. Or they make their house ashram as far as possible. Because everybody's household is different factors, different conditions at home. So it depends. As far as possible, we should try to make it an ashram. The brahmacharis, the grihasthas, the vanprasthas, and sannyasis all belong to the same mission of life, namely realization of the Supreme. Therefore, none of them are less important as far as spiritual culture is concerned. The difference is a matter of formality on the strength of renunciation. The sannyasis are held in high estimation on the strength of practical renunciation. So the difference is a matter of formality on the strength of depth of renunciation. So it doesn't mean that grihasthas cannot be renounced or detached. They can be more renounced than the sannyasis many times. It has been proven. But it's not the renunciation alone. It's the how much attached one is to Krishna and Krishna's service. That that decides how much progress one has made. So about the detachment of grihasthas, there's a beautiful story in Ramanujacharya time. Ramanujacharya, he had a disciple who was a grihastha, and Ramanujacharya was um, always glorifying him. So his brahmachari disciples and sannyasi disciples, once they asked him, Gurudev, how come you always glorifying them? We are doing so much of service. They are so much attached to their wealth, to the possessions. But how come you are always glorifying them? Ramanujacharya thought, okay, I have to teach them in by practical way. So once all these brahmacharis and sannyasis, they were taking bath in the river. So Ramanujacharya sent one disciple, and he went and he just mixed up the clothes of these sannyasis and brahmacharis. So somebody's dhoti was somewhere else, and the kopin was somewhere else, and kurta was somewhere else. So when they came out from the river, they started fighting with each other, looking for their dhoti and the kurta and the kopin. And it went on for quite some time. And then in the evening, Ramanujacharya, what he did, he asked the male person of that Grahastha family, he asked him to come to see him in the ashram. So the male came over there, man came, and Ramanujacharya kept him with him. And meanwhile, he had told brahmacharis, couple of brahmacharis, to go to the house and steal some jewelry from the house of that grihastha. So it was little late at night. So brahmacharis went to the house, and the lady was sleeping. But when the brahmacharis entered, so she actually got up. She was awoke. She awoke, and then she saw the brahmacharis. They had come to steal, and then she was like, "Let me steal them because there must be some requirement in the ashram, and they must be too embarrassed to ask for a donation." So brahmacharis came, they were stealing jewelry from the house, and they started stealing from her body also, the jewelry that she was wearing. And then she turned around, and the brahmacharis thought, oh, she must be getting up, and they ran away. So they ran away, went to the ashram. Ramanujacharya saw them coming, and he let the husband go. So husband came home, and the wife told the whole story. And this is how these two brahmacharis had come, and they were stealing jewelry, and they were taking clothes off. They were taking the jewelry off of my body. And but when I turned around, they ran away. So husband, he got so upset with the wife. Well, those brahmacharis were still outside the house, and Ramacharya had told them to listen to the conversation and tell me. So husband got upset. Why did you turn around? Why did you scare them away? You should have let them take all the jewelry. The wife, very innocently, and she said, actually, I turned around so they could take the jewelry from the other side also. And the brahmacharis, they were listening to this conversation, and they really understood why Ramanujacharya glorifies these grihasthas. They're not at all attached. And on the other side, the sannyasis were so much attached to their dhotis and kurtas and kopins. It doesn't mean every grihastha is like that. It doesn't mean that. Or every sannyasi is like that. No. All it means is there is a possibility. Grihasthas could be very renounced, could be very exalted, could be very much advanced. Just like Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he was a grihastha, but he is considered as seventh Goswami. He was a grihastha with a very high job, high position he had. He was a high court judge, and he had 10 or 11 kids at home. But still, he's considered it as seventh Goswami. So whichever ashram we are, as well as long as we are making progress towards bhakti, towards attachment to Krishna, it's that ashram is as good as any other ashram. It's very conducive then. So one can remain a grahastha and make progress. There's no problem at all. तस्मिन् स्वाश्रमे व्यासो बद्रीषण्डमण्डिते आसीनो उपस्पृश्य प्रणिदध्यो मनः स्वयम्. In that place, Srila Vyasadeva, in his own ashram, which was surrounded by berry trees, sat down to meditate after touching water for purification. So that place is called Badrika Ashram because there were so many berry trees. Badri means berry or bear. And that's why that place is called Badrika Ashram. Under instructions of his spiritual master, Srila Narad Muni, Vyasadeva concentrated his mind in that transcendental place of meditation. Text 4. Bhakti yogena manasi samyak pranihitayamale apashyat purusham purnam mayam chatatpashrayam. Thus he fixed his mind, perfectly engaging it by linking it in devotion service, bhakti yoga, without any tinge of materialism. And thus he saw the absolute personality of Godhead along with his external energy, which was under his full control. So this was the process of meditation that Vyasadeva saw, that because he was linked in devotional service, he saw absolute personality of Godhead, Krishna, along with his external energy, Maya. And that energy was under his full control. So means whatever activities we do, it's completely under control of Krishna. Because we are doing everything in Maya, everything is controlled by Krishna. Only thing that we have in our control is a desire, little desire that we can have. And Prabhupada is writing in the purport, perfect vision of the absolute truth is possible only by the linking process of devotional service. Otherwise, a perfect vision is not possible. This is also confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita. One can perfectly realize the absolute truth, personality of Godhead, only by the process of devotional service, and one can enter into the kingdom of God by such perfect knowledge. Imperfect realization of the absolute by the partial approach of the impersonal Brahman or localized Paramatma does not permit anyone to enter into the kingdom of God. So that to enter the Vaikuntha planets, one has to have this linking process of devotional service. By meditating on Brahman, which 99% of people like to do, they just like to meditate on the Nirakar form, impersonal form. So they cannot enter the Vaikuntha planets. They can only get up to impersonal Brahman level. And those who meditate on Paramatma, they're the yogis, they basically get this Ashtasiddhis. Of course, if they meditate properly and then they leave the body properly at the right time with the right consciousness, they can go back to Vaikuntha planets. But generally they don't. They get this 8 siddhis and they get enamored by those siddhis. So that is the problem. Shri Narad advised Srila Vyasadeva to become absorbed in transcendental meditation on the personality of Godhead and his activities. Srila Vyasadeva did not take notice of the effulgence of Brahman because that is not absolute vision. So the absolute vision is one meditates on the personality of Godhead. So long purport, Prabhupada is writing, uh, the internal energy. And then in the shloka it is said the Vyasadeva saw both the Lord and the Maya energy. The word apashyam suggests that the energy of the Lord, the external energy, is under full control. The internal potency or superior energy is also called Maya, but it is spiritual Maya or energy exhibited in the absolute real. When one is under the shelter of this internal potency, the darkness of material ignorance is at once dissipated. And even those who are Atmarama or fixed in trance take shelter of this Maya or internal energy. Devotional service or bhakti yoga is the function of the internal energy. Thus, there is no place for the inferior or material energy. So, bhakti yoga or devotional service comes under the yogmaya potency. But then it depends on how much we are surrendered. How then it is decided how much we are under yogmaya and how much we are under mahamaya. Or sometimes we are in yogmaya, and most of the time we are under mahamaya actually. Only sometimes, little bit time, we are in yogmaya, internal potency. But this is not to put down anybody, but this is for us to understand where do we stand. Because once we start studying that book, Nectar of Devotion, and there Prabhupada, how he explains, or how Rupa Goswami has explained the process of devotion service, the sadhana bhakti, three bhakti, Vaidhi bhakti, Bhava bhakti, Prema bhakti. And in Vaidhi bhakti, the first process is sadhana bhakti. And if we look at the qualities of sadhana bhakti and the results thereof, then we understand actually we are not even doing sadhana bhakti. We are struggling even to do sadhana bhakti. That's our position. Of course, that doesn't mean the mercy of Guru or mercy of Srila Prabhupada cannot be there. That's always there. But we have to try to understand our position. Of course, that doesn't mean we start getting discouraged or thinking if I can't even do sadhana bhakti properly, and why might as well do it? Forget it. No, that's not the process. So we have to try to do it better. That's all. So what did Vyasadeva saw? What did he see? Text 5. Yaya sammohito jiva atmanam trigunatmakam paro api manute anartham tatkritam chabipadyate. Due to this external energy, the living entity, although transcendental to the three modes of material nature, thinks of himself as a material product and thus undergoes the reactions of material miseries. It's a very important words and long purport Prabhupada is given. Due to this external energy, Mahamaya, the living entity, the Jiva, although transcendental to the three modes of material nature, so we all are transcendental, we are above these three modes of material nature because Jiva is spiritual, thinks of himself as a material product. So once the Jiva falls in the material world, so these three modes of material nature, they take over and they make the Jiva or the spirit soul that I am a material product. His consciousness gets covered over and thus undergoes the reactions of material miseries. And then he undergoes the reactions. I mean, and then whatever reactions he gets, I did good, so I get good result, I did bad, I get bad result. And he thinks because I am this body, he suffers or enjoys. But this is all Maya. We are not this body. We are not this mind. It's very difficult to understand. That's why Srila Prabhupada, even up to his last days, he kept on stressing on this one point. You're not this body, you're a spirit soul. We try to get into these internal pastimes of Krishna. We try to listen to those because it sounds so good. It basically tickles our senses. That's why we like to listen to all these pastimes because there's no realization at all. Why? Because we are not out in this body conditioning yet. That is why we cannot make proper progress. We are still in the body condition of life. We're still in the body status. I'm body. I'm this body. So purport. It's very long but very good purport because it's full of philosophy. No stories at all here, but it gives the whole crux of the matter actually. The root cause of suffering by the materialistic living beings is pointed out with remedial measures which are to be undertaken, and also the ultimate perfection to be gained. All this is mentioned in this particular verse. The living being is by constitution transcendental to material engagement, but he is now imprisoned by the external energy, and therefore he thinks himself one of the material products. So we are imprisoned by the external energy. Other day, I was giving a lecture, and one boy, very intelligent question he asked. He asked, "Why do we see bad people, I mean, cruel people, murderers, thieves in the world? Why can't Krishna stop them?" Of course, the answer that we all give is basically it's our desire, and Krishna tries to stop us, but if we don't want to stop, he lets us do whatever sins we want to commit. But then another question is who who are all the people who are in a jail? Are they good or bad people? In a jail, generally, I mean, if it's an honest jailer, he will only put bad people in the jail, right? Good people should not go to jail. But here Prabhupada is writing, the living being is now imprisoned by the external energy. So he is also imprisoned. Any living being is imprisoned. Why? Because of her desire to enjoy separately from Krishna. So we all are in prison of this material nature. And that's why the superintendent of this material universe, the personification of material nature is Durga. This world is called Durg. Prison is another name of prison is Durg, and that's why the superintendent is Durga. So means we all are in this prison. So means we all are bad people. To put it in simple terms, there could be gradations of badness, but that's all it is. Because we all are in prison, we are in the material world, we are not in the spiritual world. Basically, we all are bad people. We are trying to rectify ourselves, no doubt, but nevertheless, we are bad because we rebelled against Krishna in the spiritual world, and then we are here and trying to lord it over the material energy. And then Prabhupada further writes, and therefore he thinks himself one of the material products. So we think ourselves, I am this body, I'm man, I'm woman, I'm from Assam, I'm from Meerut, I'm from Delhi, I'm from Odisha, I'm from wherever, South India, North India. Actually, we are not from anywhere. We are from spiritual world. But it's so hard to to get this thing correct. in our brains. Oh, it's a long purport, and I wanted to go over everything, but we're running short of time. Maybe tomorrow we'll take up the same purport. See anybody has any questions or comments. Yes, Mashami Mataji.
We're discussing about Yog Maya and Mahamaya.
Yes.
I was not being able to understand properly, so can you please explain it again?
We will take up this purport tomorrow again. But how Mahamaya, of course, it's under the full control of Krishna, but she covers this the consciousness of a living entity who falls in the material world. And then the living entity thinks, I'm this body, basically. It's a product of material nature. But he's transcendental to all this. But he forgets.
You were discussing about three modes of nature. So is it like Sattva, Rajas, Tamas or something else?
Yes. Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. But it's a different permutation or combination of these three modes, depending upon our desires, our sanskaras, our karmas from previous lives. They act differently on different person.
Okay, thank you, Guruji.
You're welcome. Any other question or comment?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mata.
Prabhuji, Mahamaya and Yog Maya में से which is more powerful?
Both are Krishna's energy. And actually, in the previous verses, as in previous chapter, Prabhupada did explain, actually it is one energy, it just different roles she plays. So when she plays a role in material world, it's Mahamaya. When she plays a role in spiritual world, it's Yogmaya.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mata. Anybody else? Okay, so I guess we can stop here and see you all tomorrow. And we'll pick up from this purport only. If you can read 175, first canto, 7th chapter, 5th verse, the purport, it's very nice purport. It's lots of philosophy, but it really clears up lots of things about our position. And we'll discuss it tomorrow. Okay? Thank you all very much. Have a wonderful day. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.